If you're thinking about ordering a cake, whether it be for a birthday or wedding or any occasion in between, you may be trying to choose between a cake that's all buttercream or a cake covered in fondant. This video will explain their differences and similarities and give you a better idea of what to expect before you decide between fondant and buttercream for your next cake. Let's first start with the ingredients. Fondant is a paste containing sugar, water, corn syrup, and glycerin or gelatin for structure. Some bakers make their own fondant using marshmallows and powdered sugar as the main ingredients. Be sure to ask your baker if you're curious about marshmallow fondant. There are two different types of buttercream, American style and meringue based. American buttercream consists of butter and or vegetable shortening, powdered sugar, flavoring, and a liquid, usually either milk or water. Meringue-based buttercream is made from egg whites, granulated sugar, butter, and flavoring. Because egg whites are raw, some cooking is required for meringue-based buttercream. American buttercream is usually sweeter than meringue-based buttercream due to the amount of powdered sugar used. Fondant is essentially a dough, which can be rolled out to cover a cake or to cut out decorations. It can also be patterned and shaped to be used for cake toppers or other elements. Fondant is handled quite a bit and requires the use of gloves, shortening, oil, and cornstarch to prevent it from sticking to hands and the working surfaces. Buttercream is very creamy and requires the use of spatulas, combs, decorating bags, and piping tips to create the decorations. Fondant tends to dry out when exposed to air for an extended period of time, so it must be covered in plastic and kept in an airtight container to prevent it from hardening when not in use. It's recommended that you store fondant at room temperature. However, if you live in a hot and humid climate, you may store the fondant in a cool refrigerator. Buttercream must be refrigerated unless it contains non-perishable ingredients like shortening and water. Both finished buttercream cakes and fondant cakes can be refrigerated. However, water droplets referred to as condensation are more likely to appear on a fondant cake, especially if the cake was stored in a cold refrigerator rather than a cool refrigerator. Click above to see a short video that explains this in more detail. The main way to tell the difference between a fondant cake and a buttercream cake is to look at the texture. Fondant, when done well, appears extremely smooth. Imperfections in fondant include cracks, folds, and wrinkles that look like elephant skin. Buttercream cakes can be differentiated by the visual texture achieved by combining colors. Combed sides and piped decorations also indicate that a cake is in fact a buttercream cake. Now you may be wondering if fondant and buttercream can be used on the same cake, and the answer is yes. Fondant decorations can be added to a buttercream cake without the entire cake being covered in fondant. Cake toppers are frequently made of fondant and placed atop a buttercream cake. A fondant cake can also include a few buttercream decorations, but this is not typical. Meringue-based buttercream is fresh and usually starts off white or off-white. American-style buttercreams and fondants sold in stores come in white and a variety of colors based on the brand. All buttercream and fondant can be custom colored with gel paste, oil-based, or powdered food coloring. Because the color must be kneaded into fondant, a bit more effort is required to color it. While fondant and buttercream can be flavored in a variety of flavors, the difference in texture is undeniable. As mentioned earlier, fondant has a dough-like consistency, which makes it chewy. On the other hand, buttercream is creamy and melts in your mouth. Most people prefer the taste and texture of buttercream over fondant, especially in the US. Most people don't know this, but a fondant cake must be covered in buttercream or ganache before it's covered with fondant. This serves two purposes. It helps the fondant stick to the cake, and it's a backup for people who don't like fondant and peel it away while eating the cake. In terms of cost, a fondant cake would be more expensive because fondant is more expensive to buy and it requires more time and effort in handling. Don't forget, there's always a layer of buttercream or ganache under the fondant. If you're leaning toward buttercream but are curious how it may compare to whipped cream, check out this video on the right. As always, thanks for watching.